Hello, floss tubes. It is Mel from Mella Hope Stitches. I apologize. It has been quite a while since I've been here. I've been enjoying lots of floss tubes out there, but I've been neglecting giving back to the community. So I apologize for that, and I hope that you find some things that'll inspire your stitching today, like I often do when I watch others on FlossTube. Today I'm doing a little recap of 2022. I have some fully finished objects from the year to share with you, some stitching that I have finished but still need to fully finish, and tons of whips. And I'll share a little bit about my possible plans for 2023. The first thing I'm going to start with today is some FFOs. The first is this Halloween trio from Patini, and I just used some Be Stitch Me fabric that I had on hand along with some Aida. They're both Aidas, I should say, 14 count Aidas, but this was a hand dyed from Be Stitch Me. And I just used some random over dyes that I had in my stash that were colors I would like to use. So I have Born to Spook, Knock Knock, and Trick or Treat, and these came with all these cute little buttons from Jabco. That was fun to stitch, and it was fun to have in my tiered tray through Halloween. And I took Helen D's advice, and I just glued my edging on with a random pack I had gotten from Lady Dot Creates. Another finish that I have, which has several mistakes in it, but it's a finish nonetheless, is my Hello My Pretties from Stitching with the Housewives. And here it is here, just stitched up. And I finished this on this board that I found at Aldi's, and it worked out great. And I just had it on my kitchen table with a little quilted mat underneath it, and it was great. My last full finish for 2022 is Bringing Home the Tree from Lori Holt. And this one has a special place in my heart because I kitted this one up when I first came back to cross stitching way back at the beginning of the pandemic, and I have a little mistake in it because I used 18 count Aida, sparkly Aida. I don't know if you can catch the sparkles in there. I love them, which was one that Kim Jolly had recommended on Fat Quarter Shop. But when I kitted it up, I put just 2 stitches in so I could have the needle in there for whatever reason, and I went over 2. And then when I started it, I'm like, oh, it's 18 count. I'm not doing it over 2. I'm doing it over 1. So I did it, but I kept that little mistake in there because it's just a charming memory of my fiat back into stitching. So here is my full finish, and I just did an envelope finished pillow. I used a 12 by 12 form, and I followed a tutorial online for how much fabric to leave when doing it. And I'm gonna go back and find a 13 by 13 form if I can buy one, or maybe make my own, because I just feel like it's a little too squishy. It's not as full as I like it. I like a nice full finish on a pillow, but it's finished, so that's exciting. Next, what I have to show you are some stitches that were completed but have not been fully finished. I started 22 out with WIP Go goals, and I did really well. I accomplished them every month till the end of March. We got to March and I broke my wrist, and it kind of put a little damper in some of the quickness to my finishing and some of the pieces I was able to do because I found I needed to do more smalls at that time. So still stitched, that's the important thing. So my WIP Go goals kind of went haywire from March on, and I just stitched what I wanted. So I haven't honestly even gone back to my board since then. I should probably go back and see what else I finished from there, but I also know I did a lot of other new things. So some finishes. I have the 12 months of snapshots from Pine Mountain Design from when Fat Quarter Shop was offering them as a club a couple of years ago. And I have finished January and February, and I really love them. This is January, and it is on a 10 count Lori Holt vintage fabric. And they're really chunky because it's 10 count, and they also stitch up really fast because they're 10 count. So I have January completed, and I have February completed. I apologize for the folds in these, but they'll get ironed at some point. And I have the frame. I have a white frame I'm going to put them in. I just haven't looked at changing it out and how I'm going to complete that yet. So it's on my list of to-dos. So we'll get there. The next one I have is winter. And this is on a random 14 count piece of blue Aida that I just had in my stash. And it is one of the 4 patterns in Winter Crazy 133 from Lizzie Kate. And I do plan on doing the rest of them. I just haven't gotten to them yet. And this was my first venture with the Sulky Petites that I had purchased. And I absolutely love them. And there goes one on the floor right now. But these are kind of what they look like. They come in spools. And you only need to use 1 thread. And look at the dense coverage. This is a 14 count. And I just love the denseness of the coverage. So I'm going to keep those in here, and I will continue to work on this series. The next one I have is 2 finishes from Jelly Bean Jubilee from Wood Thy Needle and Thread from Brenda Gervais. I picked this one up when I was at Stitcher's Paradise last spring. I absolutely love that store. And these ones are done on a 14 count green Celadon Aida. So I have this one here done and this one here. And I think I'm going to make these into little pillows similar to what I did with these, so they can sit in my tiered tray. I think they'll look cute. I need to order some crushed nutshells so that I can make sure that they are heavier at the bottom so they don't fall over. So we'll see how I do with that. And another Easter finish is the Bunny Bakery from Stitching with the Housewives. It's got a, you know, my white is not as neat as I want it to be, but it's finished and that's what matters. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with that one, but I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. Which brings me to some summer finishes. So Waxy Moon Designs has a monthly trio, and I had picked this one up a while ago at Stitcher's Paradise and hadn't done anything with it, and I finally did July. I used some of the called for colors and I used some from my stash. I had been in a couple of clubs for overdyed threads, and so I'm trying to use that versus purchasing every time. I used a 14 count Aida, just something that I had in my stash, and I absolutely love the way this came out. I'm excited to do August and September, and they'll be on, I think I'm going to finish them on a block. I've got to look at some blocks I have to see if they're big enough. That's what I'm thinking right now, and then I can just change them out. I haven't purchased the other months yet, but it's in my head. Another one I'm working on, so I've got some finishes with it, yet there's some other patterns I could do, are the Little Needleworks Early American series. I simply love these. I purchased, I think it's 28 count. It might be 30. It was whatever was called for. It might be a 30 count. It is. It's a 30 count tin roof fabric from Weeks Dye Works for these. And it's the first time I've worked on linen. And it's, I finished Betsy Ross. Here she is here. And I did not use all the called for colors. I used like colors if I didn't have the called for overdyed. And then I started my John Hancock, which was number 2. I'm trying to do them in order. My whole goal for these is to make cute little pillows and have like a bowl that just has the Early Americans in it with some flags. So I'm working on Mr. John Hancock, and I made a boo-boo. And when I made the boo-boo, I kind of got frustrated and it had to go into timeout. So I was a little too quick to start that edging that's going to become the roof. If you can look here and see where it is, mine is down lower. And where I have it right now, I thought about just fudging it and going with it. But if I do that, then John himself is going to be so short that it'll look really funny. So I've got to frog that a little bit and keep going with it. I also need a little bit more tin roof cloth because the fat quarter of linen, I think I'm too short in the series to finish it. So I'll get there. We're working on it. So that's on my list to continue this year. Another finish I had was another Little House Needlework Autumn ABC. So I got down to the attic down in Mesa for the first time this fall, and a friend and I both purchased this and worked on it. She finished hers and fully finished it beautifully. I have finished it, but I have not fully finished it. And I did this on a piece of 28 count hand-dyed Aida from, I don't remember who made the Ada. It's beautiful. I love it. Oh, Rachel from Treehouse Fiber Arts. That's who it was. I was in their club. They don't have their club anymore, but I loved it. And it was a dream to stitch on. I did use called for colors in this, and I've got to find a board to finish it. Another finish for the year is from Misty Purcell, Jingle Jolly Joy. And these might have been a 21, not a 22, I'm not sure. But I did Jingle and Jolly. I have not done Joy yet. They're just on a 14 count Ada. This is Jingle, and this is Jolly. I decided not to put the names on here and just do extra snowflakes. And these are going to get put on blocks. So these are going to be on a block so they can stand up in my house somewhere. So those were fun. And I do want to stitch Joy. I just didn't get to it yet. And I think it was all the white that made me go, because I get frustrated when my white stitches come out really yucky. So that's something I definitely have to work on. My next finish is very special to me because it was a start and a finish at StitchCon this past June. I got the opportunity to go to StitchCon, and I stopped by Keepsakes and had the pleasure of having some help from them picking out a couple of things. And so this is a pattern. I don't have the pattern because I gifted it to someone else that was there with me who's now making it, but it says 4 out of 5 voices in my head say eat the chocolate. And this is something that I need to get into a frame and put up in my office. But I started this and finished it at StitchCon. So I got to ring the bell, which was super exciting. I used the called for colors because I bought it all there. And this is a, I think it's an 18 count Ada. It is a dream to stitch on, and I picked up Lily Violet's Practically Perfect in Every Way Mary Poppins while I was at StitchCon. So I have everything in here to do it, and it's going to be on this fabric. And this is my one plan I know for 2023 is that I want to start this and get pretty far on it because I'm going to StitchCon in 2023, and I want to bring this back, and I want to finish it while I am there. So that is one plan I do have for 2023, but the rest of my plans are still out there. I have been blessed recently within the community. I won a chart, one of the holiday rounds on Stitching with the Housewives. So that's also, it was the Cardinal Santa, or Santa Cardinal. So I'm excited to stitch that. And then on Steel City Stitchers, I was gifted with this awesome pattern from Hands On Design. And I'm super excited because I've been eyeing this one by Kathy Haberman for quite a while. And so this is definitely going to be in my plans for 2023, and it'll look so cute next to these ones. So I'm very excited about that. So that's also in my 2023 plans. So I began looking at doing a new start. Sorry, I had to get my whips over here. A new start on Christmas. And then I got really overwhelmed because I have so many whips going on that I thought, you know what, before I start anything new, I really need to get a little further along in what I'm working on. So I've got about a week till 2023. So I'm hoping to get a couple more stitches completed so that I can start something new for the new year. So I'm going to go through my whips that I have right now. Some are further along than others, and talk a little bit about my 2023 plans. And hopefully I'll be back at the beginning of 2023 to talk about the solidification of those plans. So I have been working on, and I apologize, guys, these are mostly in Q-snaps. They're a mess, but they're here. So I had purchased the Religious Trio from Primrose Cottage, and I started it in December, and I'm doing it on a 28 count mushroom Lagana that I ordered from them. That is a dream to stitch on. And this is in really poor shape to show you because I just moved my Q-snap today. So I did Come Adore Him and Peace on Earth, and I just started Silent Night. And so I finished this one, and I just started this one here. My goal is to get that finished this week so that I have all 3 of those completed. Another one that I've been working on, and this is a Sal. We are calling it the Flaky Sal, and I'm doing this with my table mates from StitchCon. When we were at StitchCon, we participated in the exchange. You bring an exchanged item. And as part of my exchange, I was gifted with this really cute, he's a flake little ornament. And my friend that I went to StitchCon with, unbeknownst to me, had gone and purchased the same pattern. So we talked to our table mates and we said, we need to do a sell through the year with this pattern. So I have been diligently working on it. We do a little Zoom every few weeks and work on it together. And this is where I am right now on this. So I really have his hat and a couple stitches up here. This is a mystery piece of Bee Stitch Me 20 count. No, this is a linen. It's definitely a linen. I think it's a 28 count because I'm going over 2. Yeah, it's a 28 count linen from Bee Stitch Me. It's just from my stash. So hoping to finish that up this week as well and be done with that. And then we'll just have to pick something new. This will have my first venture into beads. So there's some beads in the tree. So that's going to be new to me. And I'm excited for that new adventure. Another one of my whips right now is one that I was gifted from Danielle from Love and Stitches about a year ago on her channel. She gifted me with the Serenity Prayer from Erica Michaels. And this is a petite collection. It's supposed to be done on gauze, 40 count gauze. A little too much for me at the time. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to make it bigger because I'd love to have this on my wall. And I am going to stitch it up on a 20 count Aida. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm using sulky threads. So basically using the same colors they have in this, but on sulkies. And I just I'm like almost 3/4 of the way done. I have this from here down to do. So again, that's another one that I want to get done and get framed and get up on the wall early January. And I think those 3 are very doable for me. I think I can get them done. Another one that is kind of close to being finished, well, I'm about halfway, maybe a little over halfway. Well, I have to put the buttons on, is the ABC Lessons of Life from Lizzie Kate. I'm doing this on a 16 count Aida. I think it's 16 count. Let me check that real quick. I picked this up at Stitcher's Paradise. It's a 16 count Cafe Mocha, CF Cafe Mocha that I'm doing it on. It's an Aida. And so what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm stitching everything and I'm leaving the spaces for the buttons and I'll put those up at the end. So I am on the letter O right now. So I'm about, I don't know, I'm over halfway through. I can tell you that. I have, yeah, I have 4 more lines after the line I'm on. So it goes pretty quickly because it is letters. So I'm hoping to work on that. That would be probably the next one I want to work on to get finished. This frame was too big when I had my wrist, so this one has not had love in quite a long time. Another one that I did not venture to work on during when I broke my wrist, which makes me sad because I love it, but it's a little tricky, is our wonderful fox from Country Cottage Samplings, their Year in the Woods. I absolutely love the fox. I've got quite a bit left to go. So it's one I'll be picking up soon. And I have not ventured to start any of the rest of that series yet. I have it. I just haven't ventured into it yet. And I'm not sure when I will. I have not bought all the fabric for it. I have another piece of this same color that the fox is on. So I'm sure once I get done the fox, I'll work on another one, but I'm just going to take it slow and love it. This one was one I had minimally started, was working on it, broke my wrist, so didn't continue. And it's Snow Village, and it is on an 18 count Petty Point Aida. I have everything sitting in here for it. It again just needs some love, but it's got a long way to go. So it'll be a while before I work on that one. Another start that I started this summer, picked this up at Keepsakes, and it's Knee High by Hands On Design. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm using pretty much called for colors, but you know how it is when you're at an event. at StitchCon especially, sometimes they run out of some colors. So I have a couple substitutions, and I'm doing this on Leaf Pile Aida 18 count from Forbidden Fibers. And it's a mess because it's been sitting in the bag, but this is where I'm at on it. So I've got the corn stalks done, and well, actually, I don't have the corn stalks done. I'm working on the corn stalks, I guess is the better way I can say it. But I'm about, I'd say I'm almost halfway done. Maybe, no, I'm not halfway done. I'm about a third done, but I'm loving it. And this fabric is a dream to stitch on. I had just put it away for a while. So when I'm ready for some summertime stitching, this will be the first one to come out, because I would like to, my goal is to stitch what I have this year, finish these up and continue. I've got a lot of stash and I just want to continue. This one that I'm going to show you next is one that has not, it was on my WIPGO, but it didn't get called till March, and then I didn't get back to it. Is Flea Market Flowers from Lori Holt through It's So Emma. I'm using all the called for DMCs on it. I absolutely love this one. And this is where I am on it. I'm doing it on the 14, I think it's a 14 count gingham. That's an gingham Aida. You can see like the gingham design in there. I love how this is coming out. I just am finding that it takes me a while. The work is very intricate on it, which I love. I love the style. I love the colors. I just haven't found a way to make it go quicker for me. So I'm enjoying the slow pace of the stitch. The part that is in right now, I'm working on this brown one. When I finish that, I'll have all of this finished, and then I'll have just, you know, about half left. And I have a gifting idea for this one. So we'll see how I go with it. I find it is one I can take out for a little bit, and then I need to put it away. Love the colors, and it's very vibrant. It's just where I'm at right now. This last one last whip. So that's not that bad. It's, you know, how many whips does that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's only like 8 or 9 whips, guys. That is not as bad as I thought. This one is one I have been working on since I came back into cross stitch. And it is the Silver Creep Samplers Christmas List. And I'm using all the called for DMC except for my snowflakes because they didn't show up. This Aida is a very stiff Aida that I picked up when I first started working on it. And I'll be honest, it is not my favorite to stitch on. It's an 18 count. I'm doing it 1/1, which is fine. I just haven't found my groove with it yet. But here's where I am. Oh no, the colors are getting pretty washed out in there. I've worked on it a tiny bit this year. I'm working on this little reindeer dude down here. I really want to finish it because I love it. I'm just struggling with the feel of the, it's like an Aida that's, I don't know how to describe it. It's really stiff, like almost like something like a wax was poured over it or something. I don't know. It's very different. And I guess I just got to suck it up and do it. So I'm working on it. Slowly, I'm working on it. So those are all of the whips I have right now. Plans for the year. Part of me wants to go back and try WIPGO again. Part of me wants to say, don't do it. I think what I'm going to do is put some of these patterns into the WIPGO, and I think as I finish some whips up, I can start something new. New starts for the year that I know I want to start the Mary Poppins one. That one is a definite. Another start, and I already have my fabric out for this one. I was actually going to start it in the month of December, and then I didn't get to it, is a freebie from Joyful Expressions, and I think her name is Mommy Stitches. Stitchin' Mommy has a great floss tube. And I learned about Joyful Expressions, and I learned about this freebie because she's working on it, and it's called His Name is Jesus. And I'm going to be doing that. I already have my colors picked because I'm going to do it in purples. They do a blue wave and a pink wave. I'm choosing a purple. and I'm gonna do it on this beautiful gray Lugana, 28 count Lugana that I have. And this is how big this piece is. I mean, it is a pretty large piece, but again, it's all text. So that is on my start. That's on my definite start. Like, it's out on the table over here. It's getting started. So that and Mary Poppins are the two must starts. And these are the four purples that I chose. And I chose these ones because they're a little different from each other. So the names won't blend, but it'll be easy to find. And then another venture I'm going to take. I was at Stitcher's Paradise out in Vegas about a month ago. And I was, you know, buying some things, because what else do you do when you go and you drool at Stitcher's Paradise? You buy things. And I decided to make the leap into Nora Corbert's world with all of her beading through the Christmas Eve couriers. So I picked up Blitzen, and I decided to go with a 28 Lugana Ice Blue for the color. It's kind of getting washed out right now in here, but it's really pretty. It's not as gray as what's in Nora Corbert's pictures, but I think it's going to look great. And I bought the beads for that, and I picked up all the DMCs that it calls for, along with the Whisper thread, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of like a gossamer. It's for beards and animals and things. It's very fluffy. So it has that in it. It also has this beautiful, this one is a silk, I believe. It's a silk, 12 ply silk called Water Lilies. Look at the color variation there. It's just beautiful. It's made in Italy, imported from Italy and hand painted to the US. And then it's got some Kreinik and lots of beads. So I got myself a tacky bill, which I learned all about a tacky bill in case you're not familiar. It is a box that is tacky inside, so you can put your beads in there and they won't spill everywhere when you're trying to bead. So I feel like I am well equipped for the adventure into the Christmas Eve couriers and into beading and all of that. So I'm very excited to start Blitzen. So I'm going to try the beads out in the Flaky Sal. That's going to be my first one. And then between Blitzen, Mary Poppins, I should say, and Prince of Peace, I definitely have 3 definite new starts for 2023. We'll just see how many more there are. My thing is I want to finish up some of these whips first, because they can just get waylaid, and I really want to finish them, and I want to get some fully finished objects up and going. So my plan is to get some full finishes in there, to figure out my 2023 plans into some type of a whip go. Last year I did it with pieces to be completed, either a full piece or so many lines from something. I really like the way Pam from Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching, she does hours. You spend so many hours on a project. So I might do that instead, because I might find it, I don't know, that it moves a little differently. I might do a combination. I'm really not too sure yet. So I've got a week to figure that out. So I'm going to work on that. And so hopefully when I come back, I'll have some full finishes. I will have more on what I decide to do for Whip Go, because I'll do some type of Whip Go, and we'll keep you posted on progress. I hope that you guys are having a great end to your 2022, and that you're ready for 2023 with some great stitchy plans. Enjoy, have fun, and be at peace.